Welcome everyone to 7 Minutes or Less, talking about the shows you love and want to get into. Today we're going to talk about The Haunting of Hill House, Season 1. Try saying that 3 times fast. This is a show on Netflix with an episode count of 10, all an hour apiece minus 1, which is an hour and 8 minutes, which makes it perfect for binge watching. Now, with this 10 episodes, this isn't a very long show, and in retrospect, it has a perfect beginning, middle, and end, so there's not a lot of overreaching subplots ready to be the next big thing in the next season. With that, there are a lot of great things to be said about this show. The show starts us off with a suburban family, Hugh Crain along with his wife Olivia and their 5 children, Stephen, Shirley, Theo, Luke, and Eleanor, who have moved into the house with the sole intent of revamping it and moving out into their new home designed by Olivia. This leads to their stay to be a living hell as paranormal occurrences become increasingly intense over the next few months. As this continues, one thing leads to another and the family goes through one terrible night that changes everything. The story non-linearly tells the story from the 90s to present time where everyone is older dealing with the traumas of the past. The paranormal experiences continue as the children are now adults are leading their own separate lives. The clever thing about this show is that each episode takes the time to develop each character. The first 5 conveyed each kid in their childhood years to adult years, describing us to their side of different stories they experienced in Hill House. Personally, my favorite of the kids to adults was Theo, who has ability to perceive things from people and impressions from objects. Her character has probably the most emotion along with her father, Hugh, who has a heavy burden throughout his time at Hill House. Theo finds out she has this ability at Hill House and uses it seldomly as she grows up. When tragedy strikes again within the family, this is a so-called chance for her to use her ability probably at the best times, making Theo one of the most compelling characters for me. The other family members of the Hill House are just as good as Luke, one of the youngest, deals with a drug addiction. Stephen deals with rejection from family members as he publicly writes about this experiences from Hill House. Olivia gets sudden and abrupt headaches that impair her judgment. Hugh tries to balance the life he has with his children and wife, trying to keep it all together where after one tragic night, he has to hold on to one terrible secret that ends up alienating his kids into their adult lives. Shirley is cold and distant as she herself tries to move forward from the messed up past into her future while dealing with her own issues. Now, the youngest one in the family has probably the most innocence as her life does take the traditional route of being tormented by a childhood ghost and continue to be tormented throughout her adult years. While she probably has the happiest out of all the stories, hers takes a dark turn worse than all the others. All in all, they all have crucial parts to play with the story, and it goes without saying, the actors and actresses playing these characters all knock it out of the park. They do so well. To find out Mike Flanagan, who is the director of the first episode, only disheartened me to think that he was the director of the first episode only. So then who would be for the rest of them? To think many other directors who would try and imitate his work would only make me worry that the show wouldn't hold up. Only to find out Mike Flanagan didn't just do the first, but the rest, all 10 episodes, which was quite impressive and a relief. And if you aren't familiar with Mike Flanagan's work, he has created such works as Oculus, Hush, Before I Awake, Ouija, Origin of Evil, Gerald's Game, and an upcoming project called Dr. Sleep. I have been a big fan of his work since Oculus, but I haven't seen Ouija Origin of Evil. He is a great director. He knows horror. This television show is scary at points, thrilling in other moments, compelling in various others. But it can be simply labeled as boring, unprogressive, and not very scary. I can at least attest to the fact that this show can be extremely creepy with an artful scare well placed throughout each episode. The best way I can describe it is this is a drama of a family with horror elements put into it. The focus on building up the scare doesn't come from the false scares or something lingering around the corner ready to jump out. It becomes about the people describing what they saw, letting your imagination take over to understand what was seen. The buildup of tension over one's personal demons manifesting around as ghosts that linger are what make these characters compelling. The execution becomes more terrifying when you're with the characters and their problems, sometimes even when you don't like them. Because let's face it, no family is perfect, nor is a single individual. In the end, guys and gals, The Haunting of Hill House is a really wonderful work of art. It's suspenseful, thrilling, sometimes scary. It has just enough of everything to keep its wits about itself, not trying to be anything more than what it is. A family drama with horror elements put into it. I would say my gripes about the show features some excellent imagery that sadly doesn't go anywhere, and that's mostly in episode 7 involving Hugh with a moisture problem. In fact, if you go back and pay attention, you'll notice a few scenes with a bit more going on in the background. Perhaps it relies on filling in the gaps of information, or I might have missed something in previous episodes. Other than that, this is a solid horror show that has a lot of great concepts executed, scares fully realized that just isn't cannon fodder. The finale also does rely on heavy sentiment, but it does add to the aesthetic. For that, I'm going to give The Haunting of Hill House an A-. Check this out if you haven't given it a chance. It's on Netflix. And that is, of course, if you have Netflix. If you like this and what I do here on my channel, click the notification bell so you don't miss anything. I do movie reviews and TV show reviews, and I review ones that come together and make a new universe. Let me know down in the comments below if you're interested in seeing The Haunting of Hill House, and if you have seen it, what do you think so far? What is your favorite episode and character? Who is the most relatable to you? Like this video and share it, and if you get a chance, subscribing would be most appreciated, and your support would mean the world to me. Thank you all so much for watching, and for all this and more, I'll get you more videos in the future.